Ahí sí. Ya puso su presentación. Eso funcionó. Tengo un vídeo también, ¿no? O sea, hay presentación y hay un vídeo.
Ok, el vídeo no
Vamos
está.
a ver
¿Dónde está el vídeo?
Ya tienen. Martín, el vídeo sobre el protocolo de sobredosis.
Eso está en la carpeta de ayer.
En la carpeta, en la que dice día 1, ¿no?
Es el lunes.
Ok.
No sé, ¿está el tráiler día ese
ok.
o el otro? ¿Cuál es? Mira cuál es. A ver, lo estamos mirando.
Trailer Villa NG.
El otro
No,
es
a ver, dos tutoriales.
a ver, dos tutoriales. Ok.
Ok, ¿qué es primero?
No, solo ciérralo.
Ya está listo.
Qué asusto.
Bien, pues bienvenidas, bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Vamos a dar entonces continuidad al programa del día de hoy. Entonces, comentarles que vamos a tener la siguiente mesa sobre atención continua en relación a la naloxona y está presidiendo esta presentación a quien ya conocemos el día de ayer. Está el doctor Mauro Patí, ¿no? De Partnership of Substance Abuse. Entonces, pues un fuerte aplauso, por favor, para Mauro.
Gracias. Yo quisiera dar un fuerte aplauso a la traducción, que tiene mucha paciencia con nosotros, sobre todo que y están haciendo un trabajo muy importante y muy bonito. Y entonces estaba escuchando algunos comentarios antes y se hablaba, ¿no?, de evidencia científica, de la falta de evidencia científica. Y ahora aquí estamos presentando una investigación que hemos hecho en Roma, que tenemos como 32 años de experiencias de reducción de daños y esta experiencia que compartimos hoy en esta presentación la puede leer también aquí en esta publicación que es en inglés y mi presentación va a ser en inglés y está gratis, la puede, you can get this. Y me gustaría también saber si hay experiencia de otra organización aquí al final de esta presentación que manejan con personas que tienen sobredosis. Esta es nuestra experiencia y para compartirla con la Cruz Roja a nivel mundial. Sabe, las investigaciones muchas veces son escritas de manera difícil de comprender con los datos y todo. Esta fue un esfuerzo para que todos los voluntarios de Cruz Roja, de Mañana Cruz Roja, lo puedan entender, cuáles son los principios que hay a la base de esta experiencia y un protocolo final que ha salido de esta investigación que le voy a mostrar con un vídeo. Y entonces, como yesterday we were talking about our approach of the continuum of care, which is very important. And Philip, this morning we're talking about the harm reduction as a first step towards the treatment and the recovery of the people. And for us is very important this experience that we started to in the 90s, because we people that were not coming to reach us in Villa Marini Recovery Center, for us were people that needed the most our attention and our care. So we used to say that if a person that have addiction is a sick person, and is asking for treatment, is a sick person, people are not asking for any treatment, are twice sick. So we need to go and reach them out where they are. And this was, of course, very, very difficult at the beginning. So our very low threshold services started from these places. I will show you a little map of Rome. I don't I hope you can see it. So Villa Marini, our recovery center, is in the point 1, is in the close to the city center, and the clinic center, the emergency unit, are available 24 hours every day. Okay, and every day of the week, from the morning until the evening, we go with a standing caravan to this suburban area of Tor Bella Monaca, and also in the central station of Rome, because those are the two, we were monitoring these places at the beginning of the 90s. These two areas were the places where the market of drugs are more important, so people were used to buy drugs and also use the drugs close to these places. So we wanted to monitor these places, and that's why we established the caravan in these two places. And in the last 5 years, we started also with the mobile unit to support the caravan, because the caravan is standing and is like the clinic center, is in one place. So if people want to reach us, they come to take needles, they come to take some support, but those are more in need, maybe they don't come because they are in a dreaming state, so they don't really want to anybody to be close to them. So we go to reach them with the mobile unit. The support we got of the local branches of Red Cross, there are 36 around all the metropolitan area of Rome, is very important, and allow us also to monitor the situation in the gardens, in the parks, in the streets. I will show you also the number of police station and the Carabinieri station we have in the metropolitan area. So 40 from police and 89 from Carabinieri. So most of them, as my colleague was explaining to you, when they arrest someone who have some drug problems, they call us. So our emergency unit go to rescue them where they are, to provide methadone and to provide any kind of support and avoiding any violence. So our investigation was made on 90 overdose intervention, okay, provided by the street unit. And we try to understand the difference of the cost between our caravan and the national health system when someone witnessed an overdose and called the ambulance. We were monitoring all the expenditures and all the protocols they are using to intervene. So our purpose of this investigation was exactly to advocate, to better advocate when we refer to policymakers, and to let them understand that it's important to save life, and it's also important to use our protocols because are cost effective for them. So of course, the mortality rate of opioid users is 5 to 10 times greater than the general population, nothing new. When treated in a timely fashion with opioid antagonists, naloxone, okay, the opioid overdose is not lethal. Actually, these 19 overdose we witnessed, we saved the life of all these people. There were no issues with their health when we rescued them. And as I was telling you before, most of opioid overdoses occur in isolated, hidden, and accessible location. If I'm not wrong, some of our colleagues here were telling this, that when he was using heroin, he was in these very hidden places. He didn't really care about how to use the doses in a clean way. That's why we really need to go and get and engage people where they are. So the learning objective of this investigation, the street unit role, okay? the role of also the former drug users that are part of our team. We wanted to create a replicable protocol, okay, that can be used also in other settings. And we wanted to come out with an effective strategy. For sure, it's very important to us. It was very important because this investigation was made more than 5 years ago. It was very important to show the cost of our intervention compared with the national health system. This morning, the professor of the UNAM was telling you that Italy had a massive campaign in the 19 to eliminate this prescription of the naloxone in the pharmacy. This campaign was very important. It was led by Villa Marini Foundation with other NGOs. It was a very important achievement for us. So the result was that in every pharmacy of the country, it is mandatory since the 1994 to have at least one package of naloxone in stock. Now, this investigation was made only on the naloxone that can be injected, not the nasal spray, but we will go back on this later. This is very important to understand. 90% of cases of substance abuse and consumption is in a short distance from the place where they take the drugs. So these areas are more at risk in Rome that I was mentioning you before is Tor Bella Monaca. It actually is the second or third biggest market of drugs in Europe. So our rescue team, at the beginning, it was made by a psychologist, medical doctor, Red Cross volunteers, and social workers, because we didn't know how to deal with the people in the streets. And it was not allowed to administer naloxone without a medical doctor in the team. This was just at the beginning. Now we just have Red Cross volunteer supporting our social workers. This is very important to understand. We were a little bit crazy at that time because it is not allowed by the law to administer naloxone by a person that is not a medical staff. But we understood that the people, former drug users, are very key, very key people that can witness and can understand also the circumstance and the situation. And the administration of naloxone is a saving life model that can be replicated, because when people are about to die, it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or not, but you can really make the difference between death and life. So this is a picture of our volunteers that used to go in the park, especially in summertime when the grass grows a lot. You can also find a lot of syringes. You can find people are using drugs that you don't see from the camper, from the caravan. So it's very important, these activities that we developed in the last years, because people, the citizens that find syringes in the parks and can be our eyes in the city, and can take, we can also intervene and see if there's some new users in these places that need help. Okay, maybe they don't want to be helped, but we can get closer to them. So instead of calling the police because someone is using drugs in a public area, they call Villa Marini, which is also a change of mindset that is growing, and we are supported by the municipalities with a little bit of budget. It's always struggling to do this. At least we have volunteers that are helping us. But we, also the market of drugs is changed a lot. People and the user can change also the places when they feel not safe because there's more police around. So this is very important to this new project that is supporting our team of rescuers. So since the 90s, we witnessed more than 3,000 overdoses. So we saved the life of more than 3,000 people. It's not, this is not a joke, and it's. These are some data that tell you that so far we distributed more than 1.5 million syringes. Also, we train people, we educate people to return the syringes. And this is very interesting also for public opinion, for the policymakers to let them understand that this is in the interest of all the collectivity. And we delivered more than 500,000 of condoms. As I was mentioned before, the key role of social worker is really our asset in Villa Moraini. Actually, more than half of the employees are former drug users. They speak the same language of people are still using drugs, especially when we went out from the clinic center, from the rehabilitation center, we understood that the rules in the streets are made by the people, so we cannot, push too much the people, and we needed to have new allies that are not, doctors or psychologists, but people that witness in their life, so we can have a better relation with people who are using drugs. They are perceived as more trustworthy than professional staff. So the trust is very important. To build the trust is not easy. It was not easy, and of course, all our former drug users that are working with us are well trained to have perform basic life support and administer naloxone by our doctors and our staff. So this is interesting information. In the 1980, okay, during a meeting in Strasbourg of the Red Cross group of experts on drugs, for the first time, we stated and we recommended all the Red Cross and Red Crescent community to use the naloxone. Okay, it was very important achievement for us. In the 80s, naloxone was not even mentioned by WHO, by UNODC, was something that was not even utilized in many places of the world. And we knew that the role of Red Cross could be critical since most of our national societies are working every day on ambulances. So to carry on naloxone, it can happen that 1 out of 100 of rescue the person you are rescuing have some withdrawal syndromes, or they are using drugs, or they have an overdose. So this was our first step towards the use of naloxone. And going more in deep with this investigation, I will give you some data before I will show you the protocol. So the number of overdoses we were monitoring were 90, okay? The people were 72, as often happens in the female are just a little number compared to the male, but usually also in our clinic center, 20% of the clients are women and 80% of clients are men. The average of the first use of heroin is 19 years old, okay? And the continuity of use of heroin for the half of the audience was more than half of the audience was more than 10 years. So most of the people were old drug users, okay? And the frequency, of course, most of the people were using more than one dose a day of heroin. I will give you now the video of the protocol, and we can discuss. See if I can get it. Okay.
Strategy 2020 of the International Federation says that our priorities are saving lives, changing minds. We try to apply this strategy to the world of addiction, of drug use. Changing minds means for us spreading all over the world a humanitarian drug policy without violence, based on evidence, helping drug users. And Strategy 2020 of the International Federation says that our priorities are saving lives, changing minds. We try to apply this strategy to the world of addiction, of drug use. Changing minds means for us spreading all over the world a humanitarian drug policy without violence, based on evidence, helping drug users. And saving lives means a quick intervention in case of overdose. In the last 25 years, we were the first in the world to intervene in case of overdose in the streets, not with the professional people, but with former drug users duly trained. It is possible to save lives with a quick intervention using Naloxona. We would like that in all over the world we can spread the use of Naloxona to save lives.
First of all, wear your sterile gloves. Start a rapid initial assessment of the overdose scenario. In case of severe intoxication with unconsciousness, cyanosis, and crackles, immediately proceed with an intramuscular injection of 0.4 milligrams of naloxone. In life-threatening situations, the injection should be performed even through clothing to avoid any delay in the treatment. If after 2 minutes there is no response, 0.4 milligrams of naloxone should be administered again, possibly intravenously. If it is necessary, use the ambu bag to help the breath of the patient. When the intravenous route is not viable, the rescuer should consider the sublingual route, injecting 0.4 milligrams of naloxone into the mucosa of floor of the mouth, above the myloid muscle. Monitoring the patient, evaluate the recovery of normal vital parameters, for example, reactivity to physical and verbal stimuli.
If there's any question now about this protocol, or okay, some key data about our investigation. So the setting also, as I was telling you, is important. So most of the overdoses were happen in the streets and in the park. People, 28% were alone. The other people, the rest of the people were in company. I think there's a sort of audio problem here. I can. Que oigo mi voz cuando hablo. Disculpa. No pasa, normal. Okay, vale. It was very important to ask them if they were changing the dealer recently. Okay, to understand also if the dose of the heroin was changed or not. We were also monitoring if the people we were rescuing were released from prison recently or not. Which is the case that many times when people come out from the prison, they can have an overdose because they are not used to with the same dose they were taking before, which is very critical issue. The multiple use of drugs, as you can see, almost 60% of the people rescued were used in the last hours, also other substances. And here you can see that according to the dose of naloxone that was administered, so 0.4 milligrams or the double, and so on, you can have different symptoms that you can see, you can notice. That's why it's important to have in the team of people that witness this, because they can recognize more than a doctor that never witnessed an overdose how to deal with the person, and if it's the case to administer another dose of naloxone or not. Sometimes it's a challenge also because if you administer too much naloxone, the person can have withdrawal syndromes at the end, and they can be very rude and very aggressive and violent towards the people that were rescuing them. So this is the core of our investigation. It is very important to showcase that it's not just important to save all these people life, but also the cost is dramatically more cheaper, the cost of the caravan that we have in the street compared to the National Health System ambulance services. So you can see that in the worst scenario, the financial cost of the national health system is more than 200,000 euros for 19 overdose. And for Villa Marini, the cost was just 29,000 euros. And in the best case scenario is 153,000 the cost of national health system, and for Villa Marini still the same, because this is our cost according to the cost of staff, the cost of gasoline, the cost of equipment, etc. So this is very important when you can utilize your data to take the support of the national health system, of the municipality, of the policymakers in general. This can make the difference in terms of support, of financial support, of political support. So, of course, the results speaks alone. The data, it's the treatment in the street context with the former drug users is safer, quicker, successful, and reduce the mortality. And of course, the cost is dramatically reducted, and the advocacy, the acceptance of the cultural mindset was changing a lot in the years, and this investigation helped us to receive even more, to receive even more support. So the final recommendation, okay, to access to naloxone can be expanded through standing orders at pharmacy, the availability through local community-based organization. Many often when we had some funding, we were also distributing the naloxone doses to the families, to the friends, also to the people that are used to taking drugs, even if they will not use, of course, for themselves, but they can witness where their friends will overdose. Another important issue that can be that should be addressed is to make some training course also to law enforcement official and first responders. We used to do this with prison officers every year. We are going to do this also with the law enforcement in the city of Rome. It's a pilot project, but we are doing this with the nasal spray. And now I will tell you about this new project. And of course, also the health and medical community should be trained with the administration of naloxone. And this is the new project that we are going to implement in the next few months. We call it Take Home Rome Naloxone. It's for the moment we are distributing the nasal spray naloxone just to family, to the friends, to see if they use it first of all, if it works, and this is a big solution also for us because the administration by syringes was very challenging in the last 30 years, but the nasal solution is spray naloxone is the solution also for the volunteers that are not medical doctor and cannot administer any drug. The only big challenge now is the cost because the nasal dose of naloxone costs 10 times more than the normal one. But I think this is the path, this is the future. Of course, now the Italian government is a little bit worried about this new pandemic of fentanyl all over Americas. And so we are trying to monitor also the people are using drugs to understand if the drugs they are using, there's already a little bit of fentanyl inside. So they are asking to us, Villa Marini, and also to other organizational workers in this field to support them for training courses to the first responders. And but before to start with them, they need more data, they need more investigation with the nasal naloxone spray. And yes, that's it. Thank you. Preguntas, comentarios. Good. So we all agree with the evidence-based harm reduction activities because someone this morning were complaining about the evidence-based. If this is not evidence-based, you tell me.
Yo tengo un comentario. En el estudio haces mención de 90 sobredosis. ¿Cuánto tiempo fue y cuánto tiempo, o sea, 90 en cuánto tiempo?
En 2 años.
Wow. Nosotros acabamos de preguntar informalmente a la Cruz Roja solo en Mexicali y hasta junio en lo que iba del año tenían casi 500 sobredosis en una ciudad,
¿A
en
dónde es eso?
Mexicali. Es en el norte del país.
Norte del país.
Y ni siquiera es el cruce más transitado. El cruce más transitado es Tijuana. Y tampoco se cuenta o hay contabilización de atención en clínicas, simplemente era atención en ambulancias. Y habían atendido hasta principios de junio de este año 500 sobredosis. Entonces, cuando se dice que no hay consumo de sustancias opioides en el país y que porque nuestra familia es muy robusta y tenemos excelentes relaciones interpersonales, pues desafortunadamente no son datos fidedignos.
Pero de verdad.
Y que comparado, por supuesto, con lo que tú nos presentas, 90 contra 500, 2 años contra 5 meses, es de tomar en consideración. Aquí en México, 2024.
Wow.
¿Alguien más de pregunta?
Yo tengo una. Mauro, tú nos dices que un porcentaje altísimo del staff son usuarios, ex-usuarios de drogas. Ellos están contratados, son asalariados, perciben un salario, tienen un contrato laboral. ¿Cómo es esto? ¿Es una profesionalización del rol? Cuéntanos.
Sí, sí, seguro. Claro, sí, son social workers, entonces tienen contrato de trabajo. Ellos eran todos clientes que acabaron el tratamiento y fueron monitorados después de unos años y fueron elegidos por su calidad y por su pasión porque no todos los que acaban de hacer un tratamiento quieren hacer este trabajo, por supuesto, pero muchas veces ellos quieren, como se dice, volver, no, restituir lo que le ha dado ¿no? la chance eh, de acabar un percurso de tratamiento. Y sí, son la fuerza de verdad de Villa Marini, son la fuerza y hace toda la diferencia en nuestro trabajo, porque antes de los años 90 la mayoría eran solo profesionistas en Villa Marini y después cambió mucho y paralelamente fue fundada una cooperativa que se llama siempre Villa Marini, son ex usuarios que da la posibilidad de trabajar a lo que acaban ahora de un percurso. Y eso es muy importante para hacer una inclusión social y laborativa en un ambiente más protecto, ¿no? Entre personas que han tenido la misma experiencia en la vida. Sí, 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 eso. Nada.
¿No? ¿Alguna
Bien.
pregunta más?
Gracias. Siguiendo en el hilo de lo que comentó la compañera de los 500 casos en Mexicali, no sé la especificidad de esos casos, si solo consumieron opioides o también otras sustancias como en su estudio, que si no recuerdo mal, 9 personas habían consumido benzodiazepinas también. Entonces, es un gran porcentaje porque los otros casi no habían usado, los otros habían usado cocaína, eran los segundos, y otras sustancias. ¿También usan ustedes flumacenil, por ejemplo, en esos casos? Otro para revertir la combinación de efectos aparte de la naloxona.
No entendí la pregunta porque tengo la audio
Ah, perdón. Si usan flumacenil, sí, para las benzodiazepinas, en los casos que son de uso de opioides y benzodiazepinas. Flumacenil. Ajá, sí. Ah, ok. Es que nueve personas en su estudio tenían combinación de benzodiazepinas con opioides. Entonces, eso, la reversión de la naloxona no va a ayudar a la reversión de las benzodiazepinas.
Eso es
Entonces,
verdad.
sí, claro, pero no sabemos cuánto usó en cada caso.
Sí, porque
Sí, claro.
sí.
Ok.
Cuando, cuando no sabemos a qué responde un coma farmacológico, el flumazenil es muy sencillo y en la guardia de toxicología se lo hace como diagnóstico diferencial, porque si es una intoxicación por benzodiazepinas, rápidamente se despierta y después se vuelve a dormir. Porque la diferencia del flumazenil con la naltrexona es que la naltrexona no pierde el efecto. El flumazenil en poco rato volvió a estar en coma.
Y
Gracias.
es muy probable que las personas que socorrimos, ellos, si buscamos benzodiazepina por dentro de la sangre, es porque fue cortada o ellos no son utilizadores de benzodiazepina, como la mayoría son utilizadores de heroína que están allá, y puede pasar que han utilizado otra sustancia en el día o que solamente que están, ¿cómo se dice?, mezclada, pero no son usuarios de benzodiazepina, por eso no lo utilizamos. Y si utilizan la naloxona y no le pasa nada porque no era heroína, no hace un daño a la persona, eso es muy importante. Por eso, por ejemplo, cuando no funciona la naloxona, y lo vamos a hacer sublingual. Es una cosa que se inventaron nuestros social workers y llega muy veloz. Eso es muy importante. Pero es difícil también hacerla porque puede pasar que van a cerrar la boca y te puede hacer daños. Pero la mayoría de nuestros usuarios son de heroína allá.
Gracias.
Sí, de nada.
Bueno, acá. En esto que nos acabas de mostrar, vemos que la intervención es principalmente en el momento, o es lo que yo alcancé a entender, con personal de salud. ¿Hay algún otro personal que no sea médico que llegue a atender la emergencia en el momento, o es más bien a largo plazo cuando entran los psicólogos o psicólogas, trabajadores sociales?
No hay solo trabajadores sociales o solo former drug users, no hay médicos ni nada. Al principio, en los años 90, el equipo era formado también de médicos y psicólogos. Ahora el equipo son solo ex usuarios. Y eso funciona porque un dato importante, interesante, es que como 35 de estas 72 personas de esta investigación llegaron a Villa Marini a empezar un tratamiento. El linkage to care, ¿no? Es muy importante. Otros siguen, ¿no?, utilizando las drogas y cuando llegan en Villa Marini pueden encontrar un psicólogo, un médico y empezar un tratamiento que está basado su necesidad, situación. Pero en el equipo, en la calle, no hay psicólogo y no hay médicos. A veces hacemos campañas con médico y psicólogo, tal vez para ofrecer un test rápido de HIV, de hepatitis, o vamos a hacer juntos con los voluntarios otras campañas de información, pero no hay doctores, no hay... Esa es la cosa particular y rara que tenemos, ¿no? Y que nos contesta mucho también algunas instituciones. Dicen, no, eso no se puede hacer porque si no hay un médico que va... fue un desafío. It was a big challenge for us.
Oye, la naloxona es para la sobredosis, pero para la abstinencia de la heroína, ¿qué es lo que usan? La naloxona no se puede usar en la abstinencia de heroína. ¿Qué medicamento usan ustedes para controlar la abstinencia de heroína?
Para la metadona, pero en casa, en la clínica, la vamos a sí, administrar, como se dice. Sí.
La dosificación. La abstinencia no se trata en agudo. Estamos hablando de situaciones de emergencia con riesgo vital inmediato.
Por eso estoy preguntando qué es lo que usan.
En el síndrome de abstinencia se trata con clonidina, analgésicos, lo que es la detox. Otra cosa, la metadona es para la desintoxicación progresiva y evitar que hagan un síndrome de abstinencia, no necesariamente usando heroína, porque es un opiáceo de vida media larga. Entonces, con menos dosis que las que requieren de heroína y es más estable.
Sí, dosificando, ¿no?
Sí, son cosas diferentes, claro que...
Por eso preguntaba.
Pero la cosa positiva que tenemos a la clínica, el ambulatorio médico que da la metadona, está en Villa Maraini. Entonces, si tú tienes abstinencia, cualquier caso, situación, siempre hay la puerta abierta, pero si tú tienes abstinencia en la calle, nosotros no distribuimos la metadona. Por lo menos, si tú quieres la metadona, tienes que marchar y llegar a la clínica. Si no, no empieza un percurso de terapia. Las personas que vamos a ayudar en la calle, ellos no quieren acabar de tocar las drogas y eso lo respetamos. Son dos escenarios totalmente diferentes.
¿Alguna pregunta más? Pues bueno, entonces un fuerte aplauso, por favor, para Mauro.